So on Thursday, Portuguese government came out with their new deconfinement regulations, and it's a bit of a bummer. So, if you were thinking of traveling to Portugal for Easter, you're sadly mistaken. So this new plan, this deconfinement plan, is starting from the 15th of March. And I was eagerly awaiting the release of this new plan because we'd all been led to believe that restrictions were going to be lifted. How wrong could we possibly have been? Damn, I have icicles on my windscreen wipers. Ah! There we go. The reopening, which starts on the 15th of March, I'll go into a little bit more detail later exactly what will be reopened on the 15th of March. But this deconfinement period lasts until the 3rd of May, when hopefully things will be almost back to normal. So before you start booking your flight tickets, because things are going to start being eased from the 15th of March, have a listen. So I don't know whether to laugh or cry as I tell you this, but anyway, so even though some of the restrictions are being lifted on the 15th of March, what they have said is that the weekend of the 20th and 21st of March, there will be a ban on travel between municipalities. Then, of course, the Monday this ban is then lifted, but starting from the 26th of March all the way until the 5th of April, that ban about not going to other municipalities, not traveling to other municipalities, will be strictly enforced. So that means if you fly in, you can't travel to your farm, for instance, because you're going to be going from the municipality where the airport is at to your farm. This is an absolute huge bummer, because I was supposed to fly, basically you could almost say from the 26th of March to the 5th of April. I mean, that's my Easter holiday. I will definitely not be able to travel. It's not just Portugal that is doing this. Even though the cases all over Europe are going down, they're actually bringing in stricter travel restrictions for the Easter period to try and stop people from traveling over Easter. So, for example, here in Norway, they are not banning travel at Easter. They are advising you not to travel at Easter, and they're making it very, very difficult for anybody who is wanting to travel at Easter. And it's not just Norway, Portugal, it's, as I said, other European countries as well. They have identified Easter as being, a very risky time. Looking back to what happened Christmas, they opened things up for people at Christmas, and then there was a big spike afterwards. So I understand they're just trying to protect the population, but when you have things you want to get done, it does make it very difficult. So they are looking at Easter as being a moment of confinement rather than a moment of displacement. So on the 15th of March, nurseries, kindergartens, local shops, libraries, bookstores, car sales places, what else? Real estate agents, they are allowed to open. But there are times that they have to stick to. However irritated I am about this Portugal thing, it is beautiful here. I mean, but the grey sky, it's all silver, really. That's the lake you can see in the distance. I think, if I remember correctly, what I read was they have to be closed by 9 o'clock at night. I think food retail places have to close by 7 o'clock, and weekends they have to close. Weekends and holidays have to be closed at 1 o'clock. From the 5th of April, more things will be opening. Schools will be opening, or primary schools. Stores that have doors opening onto the street. I think the store has to be 200 square meters. Restaurant terraces. So at least you'll be able to sit outside and have something to eat and drink. And that will be like for cafes and pastry shops. So at the moment, I think you can only get takeaway food. You can't go in and sit down. That's not allowed. So that's a good restriction to be lifted for restaurants that have all been struggling during this time. Something else that will be opened will be museums, monuments, palaces, art galleries. But wherever you go, your group can't be larger than 4 people. Gyms will also be open at this time, but you are not allowed to go to classes. So you can go to the gym, but you've got to keep in your own little bubble. You aren't going to be doing your dance aerobics class or anything like that. Then, from the 19th of April, high schools, universities, auditoriums, cinemas, theatres, they will all be opened, and table service in restaurants will also be open, and restaurant hours then will be until 10 o'clock at night, but still 1 p.m. weekends. And you can then have 4 people sitting at a table, and 6 people will be allowed to sit at a terrace table. And if you are going to have a wedding, your guests can occupy 25% of the room capacity, and all stores and malls shopping malls will be allowed to be open. So you can go and have your breakfast of pastel de nata and a cappuccino. If you like going to the gym, group classes will be open as well at that time. There's been no mention about beaches. So in all these dates, they haven't said when the beaches will be open and when you can, hang out with people on the beach. So I don't know. They haven't made any mention of that yet. Then on the 3rd of May, Restaurants, cafes, pastry shops will then be allowing table service for 6 people at a table, and if you are sitting on the terrace or outdoors, 10 people will be allowed to sit at the table. And if you any outdoor event or indoor event such as a wedding, you will be allowed to have 50% capacity. So that's good news. So the level of opening for each zone is subject to a fortnightly assessment based on the amount of new cases per 100,000 inhabitants and their transmissibility rate. If the transmissibility rate is higher than 1, then the measures will be reassessed. At the moment, the transmissibility rate is at 0.8. So that's good news. And it also seems that they have extended the state of emergency, which will be from the 17th of March all the way through to the 31st of March as well. And all the SEF centers for immigration are closed at the moment and waiting more details. I know lots of people have been commenting that they did have SEF appointments and they've been cancelled. So I should imagine when they open up again, there's going to be a huge backlog. But yeah, I think it's really good for the shops and restaurants that have been forced to be closed over this time. You can just imagine how much money they have lost with no income. And yeah, they haven't said anything about masks, so I am assuming you continue with a mask. I know many people were wanting to travel at this time, so I reckon you're just going to have to stay at home and keep yourself entertained. People wanting to look at properties, it's really difficult. I know a lot of people have commented that you contact the estate agents and they don't get back to you. And the reason is that they believe it's very important for you to see the property. And if you are not there to see the property, I suppose they don't see any point in contacting you back. So, not the most ideal of situations, but the Prime Minister is saying that there is no way they will accelerate the timetable. I mean, that's it. They will be reevaluating each stage every fortnight to see if there is another spike. Then obviously they will then bring back some of the restrictions that are slowly being lifted. They're still advising you to work at home, or work from home, should I say. Anyway, it is what it is. We just have to make the best of the situation, and that's all one can do. And I know I mustn't be irritated because this is all for keeping people safe. But you know what? It's okay to feel irritated. But if I can ask you to please give this video a thumbs up, if you can please like. That helps with the YouTube algorithm a lot. And if you comment and can engage with the video and share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, that all helps. So yeah, it's you, my community, that are supporting me through this, I don't know, tough time, this past year. I just feel that this is like a developing community, and I thank you so much for your support and your kind comments and you sharing my videos and hitting the like button, etc. I thank you so much for all of that. And keep safe, keep sane, and I'll see you on the next video. Have a good one.